Hello, I am often asked, how do I get started with implementing an IT security program in my business? And there's two schools of thoughts on this. One is, you go through a formal risk assessment. The risk assessment goes through a formal evaluation process, and the outcome of the risk assessment is a plan with priorities that can be implemented over time to get your network protected. The other school of thought is, no matter how big or how small you are, there are some basic things that you have to have implemented right away to make sure your assets are safe. And if you're starting out and don't know where to start, you need to make sure that the basics are taken care of before you even spend time on the risk assessment, because the risk assessment is going to bring all this into play anyway. When we talk about IT security, what are we talking about? We're actually talking about protecting data assets. And protecting data assets is not very different than protecting other physical assets. You have a house or an apartment that you live in. You have a car, you have money, you have jewelry, you have tons of stuff that you consider valuable. When you go to sleep at night, I'm sure most of you make sure your doors are locked. Your windows are closed. You may have an alarm, you set the alarm. Do you really think anybody's going to be walking down the street in the middle of the night or during the day and looking to see if your house is locked or not, and then breaking in? Let's say something bad does happen. Someone does break into your house and steal some assets. How do you protect yourself against that? It's safe to say that most of you have insurance to protect against that kind of a loss, and you'll be made whole by the insurance for whatever the thief may have stolen. When we talk about these type of assets and protections, you've got your data assets that sit on a computer on a network, and you have a front door, and that front door is the internet. How do you close and lock that front door? You put a firewall in. The firewall is that gateway to protect the data assets. And then something bad happens. You get ransomware. The bad guys steal your data. They lock it. Or something bad just happens, like the server suffers from file corruption, or just won't boot up and the hard drives go bad. Your insurance is similar to your backup. You need to be able to recover that data so you can get the business up and running to deliver goods and services to your clients. Then we have that middle ground. This is where I'll compare it to jewelry and money. None of you, I'm sure, leaves all your money sitting out on the kitchen table. You don't leave your jewelry out on the kitchen table. While we don't expect anybody to break into the house, we don't want to make it easy for them by having those assets just sitting there ready for them to grab. So we might have a safe. At minimum, we put it in a drawer somewhere. The equivalent to that when we talk about security is having a good patch management solution in place and a good antivirus solution in place. The four things that are really critical to protecting a network, if you had to choose in order, number one and number two are equally important. You lock the front door and you buy insurance. You have a firewall and you have a backup solution. The next thing is, you don't make it easy if someone does break in to find the assets, and to protect those assets, similar to having a safe. That layer of the safe is similar to putting a patch management solution in and an antivirus solution. Over the next couple of videos, the next one, I'll be sharing information about what makes a good firewall and how to select one. After that, we'll follow up with the insurance side and having a good backup solution, and then we'll wrap up talking about putting protections around the assets themselves, which is your patch management and your AV solution.